All right, live. Okay. I already know I'm gonna get copyrighted for this, but I really don't care. I already know I'm gonna get copyrighted for this, but I really don't care. Alright, I'm just gonna wait a little bit, and that's why I put the media source in, that's why I put the song in, so you guys wouldn't have to be just staring at this thing for no reason. A little bit, that's why I put the media source in, that's why I put the song in, so you guys wouldn't have to. But in all honesty, we do really, like, anybody who winds up watching this later on or joins in later, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. And I'm just going to tell, as a matter of fact, while I'm here, right here, this. I want to touch up on just like talking about their outfits, right? We already got Team Rwby right here with their outfits. I don't even know, is it possible for me to show the mouse cursor on here? I don't know. It doesn't look like it's possible to show the mouse cursor, but like touching on their outfits, starting with Yang's. Yang looks more like biker chick. I know she's always loved Bumblebee and everything. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Bumblebee get destroyed last volume? Yeah, Bumblebee got destroyed last volume. But Yang has always been like biker chick looking, but she looks way more biker chick. Looks like she has leather, like a leather vest slash jacket on. It looks like her arm might have gotten an upgrade, or maybe she's just wearing. She might just be wearing her gauntlets on. That just might be what it is. Hair doesn't look longer. Wearing shades. Got the yellow scarf. I like how she has her pants. Like one pant leg looks kind of like half done. The other one isn't. And I feel like this. I feel like first of all, I feel like all their costume. Well, not all their character. I feel like all their character designs like show a sign of growth with the character, because if we're really being honest, they did look way younger. Like Rooster Teeth did a good job of making them look really young in the beginning, and they did a great job with showing the growth between each character and for each character with little subtle changes in their design. And I feel like Blake, her slight change takes more after her mom with the short hair. I feel like Blake is really taking after her mom. I love her design. Her design is like gradually gotten brighter. Like she was like solid black. Her design has gradually gotten brighter. Weiss, I feel like Weiss is starting to look more and more like her mom. I really have no idea how the hell her hair is growing this dang much and how she's able to fight with it. But you know that's neither here or there. I like the touch of dark blue in her design. I like how she has those sleeves, those gloves on that like go up to her elbows. And Rwby, even though her costume dye is real subtle, but I like how they did her hair. Her hair symbolizes like, it's kind of like how I felt about how Jean winded up getting his hair cut. It's like, hey, we're out here. It symbolizes more of a rough look. Like, don't get me wrong, Weiss is always going to be regal, so she's always going to have that slick back look, but she looks like she's grown. Blake cutting her hair, taking after her mom. Yang is never going to let anybody touch her hair, so that's probably the reason why she hasn't had her hair changed. But Rwby has always had her hair like little soft girl, like soft, playful girl. And it doesn't mean that she isn't soft, playful girl anymore, but she does know that she's gonna have to fight and possibly kill now. So I really do understand that. But I feel like the stream has gone on long enough with just this boring little setup here. So let's go on and switch. Hey, how are you? And start actually talking about the first episode. First episode of Rwby. Now, first thing I'm going to touch up on is the fact that showing Mantle, showing how Mantle and everything has been, I really did think that right here, I really did think that Mantle was just like for some reason when I saw it in volume 6, I thought this like a torched area. Like I thought that Mantle itself was just torched, saw the smoke. Either it was an attack city or just a torch city. But now that we like see it, and now because I haven't paid attention too much to lore about like Mantle and Atlas and the other kingdoms, which I need to. I'll probably do reactions on them, but Mantle, now seeing it's a city in poverty, and Atlas is like the golden city. Like Atlas is like their El Dorado in a sense. Like a kingdom up in the sky, like Maria said, is what you like want to strive for. But just like Nora said, unless you're the one looking at it, it's definitely not something that you want to dream about. And I really like all the smoke and everything. I really thought this place was like being attacked, but they have mines and everything that people most likely is like a common job over there to be like a miner or a worker at the mines and everything like that. So I never noticed that. I didn't want to notice that. I didn't care to necessarily notice that. But it is something that like now you just can't avoid. They're in Mantle right now, and arriving in that damaged ship, arriving in this damaged Atlas aircraft. And I'm sitting here just looking at this scene. I'm really like, wow, Weiss was really like in a kingdom. Like Weiss is in the kingdom of Atlas, and not only is it in the sky, but it looks down at everybody. That would explain a lot of why Weiss didn't know much about Mantle or poverty or anything like that in the beginning, because she was like so sheltered. She was like literally away. She was literally away from it. Like there's probably most likely no poverty in Atlas. Atlas is probably separated from poverty. Like that giant hole in the ground, Atlas probably was on the ground at a time. I'm gonna pay attention to the lore a little later, like probably after I do this live stream. But Atlas is probably in the ground, and because they wanted to separate themselves from the poverty of Mantle, they probably literally used what is Atlas supported with? Is it like gravity dust, and that's why they're anchored? Is it supported by like some kind of dust? Has to be. And they're now in the sky now, so completely cut off from Mantle, pretty much. But I found it amazing that I found it great that, as a matter of fact, that in this shot right here, when we see the forces of Atlas literally like in full mobilization, it's just like Weiss said, she never seen her forces deployed, well, not her forces, but the forces of Atlas deployed so aggressively. And it got to the point where Ironwood is barely even like, he barely cares about Mantle. He's so focused on protecting the relic and the people of Atlas, he barely cares about Mantle. That's what it seems like. He'll send people from Atlas down to Mantle if he needs to, but even still, it seems even almost hypocritical to, like, if there are licensed huntsmen or huntresses, or even if there aren't, how, first of all, how do you know? And second of all, are you talking about they can only be licensed by Atlas in order to do anything? If there's something going on in Mantle, all your forces are fully mobilized up protecting probably 24-hour surveillance on Atlas and Atlas alone. They don't care about what's going on in Mantle. And that's probably one of the reasons why it was so easy for you know who and other you know who to infiltrate Mantle and start their operation there. If you're going to have your forces mobilized, you need to mobilize them and protect not just Atlas, but you need to have them mobilized in Mantle too, because if you don't, Mantle is like right there. Like Mantle is literally right here. They can easily come up with a plan to infiltrate Atlas if they needed to, because your forces are focused on the air. They're focused on the circumference of Atlas. And I never thought that made sense. But at the same time, like they said in the show, Ironwood is paranoid and scared after what happened to Beacon, and you gradually see how much of a toll it's taking on Ironwood. But we're going to get into that in a second. Right now, we're going to talk about Crow's voice actor. Not necessarily his voice actor, but more along his voice. Just a little bit that I had to say. But Crow's voice is not that bad. Maybe an unpopular opinion. It might be an unpopular opinion, but I really don't think Crow's voice actor is that bad. I get that it's a little bit like you got to kind of get used to it because you've been with Crow for so long, but it's not that bad. And we really see like how much, like, I feel like with Crow, first of all, I'm glad he got an outfit change. I didn't get a clip of his outfit change, but I'm really glad he got an outfit change. But I feel like personally with Crow, when it comes to him, you just gotta personify that type voice, like that draggy, raspy, slightly raspy type voice. As long as you can do that, I feel like you can get a hang of Crow. I feel like Crow's voice actor, don't get me wrong, a lot of girls loved his voice actor. Don't get me wrong, I've seen tons of Rwby reactions. These girls were falling over Crow's voice actor. I'm telling you. But you just gotta get used to it. It's nothing that I really was like upset about. It's good. It's good. Like I don't like the fact that they let go of his voice actor, but they had to save face, I guess. I'm not really gonna get too into that. And Ironwood, the dude who is literally, my boy is losing his mind. Look at him. Look at him. Look at my dude. Ironwood has definitely let himself go with the beard and everything. Like if he was completely 100% not paranoid and everything, then the beard wouldn't be that much of a change, and it wouldn't be like, I mean, it's still a little rough. His hair is even rough. His hair was pretty slick and clean cut last time I remember, but that's neither here or there. The point is that with our knowledge of knowing that he is like out of sorts, that he's paranoid, that he's scared and everything, it adds to the beard adds to that fact. Like it lets you know, hey, he's tired. He probably hasn't slept. He's paranoid. He's mobilizing forces, doing things that he wouldn't do if he was thinking rationally. And I like the slight outfit change and everything. But I found it interesting what you know who, I'm not going to say his name. If you saw the episode, you already know, said about the council, because apparently the council is so scared that they'll let Ironwood do whatever he sees fit. Because Ironwood was always the type of person, we even saw in Volume 3, Ironwood was always the type of person who would mobilize forces, mobilize whole armies if he had to secure that sense of protection among any kingdom. Heck, he did it to Beacon, even though that didn't work. But since he's an Atlas, home turf, home field advantage, he probably feels like it wouldn't matter. He has all of his troops. They don't have to mobilize a distance. They're just right there at home base. You need to refuel, you right here. You need ammo, you're right here. Like that's all you need. And I feel like a mobile home defense like that is effective. However, he doesn't know the impending threat. And I feel like that's what really scares him. He has no idea. And when Crow sees Ironwood like this, and he has this face. I love how Rooster Teeth is caught up and improved with their facial like reactions and animations. Crow seeing Ironwood like this, you can see in Crow's face like how sad he is that Ironwood or James has been doing this. Crow has no idea what he's been doing. Heck, Crow was out for a good portion of Volume 4 because of Tyrion's poison, and he I don't even think he's had contact with Ironwood since he started following Rwby. And because if he has, he would have known what Ironwood was doing. But I think Ironwood felt like everybody was compromised except for the people of Atlas. So he stayed there, sheltered himself. And that's why Crow has no idea what he's been doing. It's to the point where everybody knows that Ironwood has like gotten extremely paranoid, scared, frightened, doesn't have any idea what he really is doing. Like he's hurting the people of Mantle by protecting the people of Atlas. And it's something that arguably is really easy to fix by just evenly mobilizing your troops. But because he knows that one area has the relic and the other one doesn't, he's more concerned on the relic. Now that he knows, like in his mind, he's sitting there thinking that since Beacon fell, the relic at Beacon is compromised, it's captured. He also knows about Ozpin's reincarnation, but he doesn't know where Oz is or who Oz has become. And because of that, he has no one to talk to. Oz is the one who guided them, let everybody in. Oz is the one who made all the calls because he is the one that Salem, not the one that Salem's after, but him and Salem are the ones who have been here. They're the ones who know about the relics. They're the ones who told anybody about the relics. And Ozpin being charged to guard him, Oz knows he can't do it himself. Heck, he lost to Salem that one time when they reunited. So I feel like after constant times of doing this by himself, he gradually found a group and a circle of people who he could really trust. And with him gone, their number one leader is gone, which divides their, in a sense of leadership. It divides who thinks they should be in charge of what and everything. If you have a central command, that central command dictates what the other commanders do. As soon as the central command goes out, everybody's lost. Communication's lost, don't know what to do, and it really just ruins everything. And I feel like that is exactly what's going on. Like Ironwood, like Crow said, Ozpin put Ironwood in this situation. Ozpin chose to let Ironwood in, probably for the good of the world, because if you have an Atlas general or an Atlas commander on your side, that's more protection to you, that's more power to you. That's probably the reason why Ozpin chose to let Ironwood in. However, Ironwood was never the type of person to make calls on a situation that he doesn't know about. And now that he is in charge to make calls, his main priority is nothing but protection. And that's going to cause a big problem. Now moving on to something that I really, really enjoyed. Seeing Winter. First of all, I love how Rooster Teeth is doing better with the details in the hair. There's just props to the whole entire team of Rooster Teeth. They're just the subtle changes with like hair, body movement, the fluidity and everything just does great. Now, what I was saying in my reaction was that it looks like Winter might have got like a promotion. She has more of like a regal general commander type status or like look to her, and it could just be a character design change. That could really be, it could really be as simple as that. But I feel like she was Ironwood's right hand when he was at Beacon. She's still Ironwood's right hand, but I feel like being the right hand doesn't mean that you're directly under his position. I feel like she might have gotten a promotion. It could be. I don't know. Like I said, it could just be a design change. Who knows? But I did really enjoy seeing Winter like this. But Winter being here saying the same thing as Ironwood is saying, agreeing with Ironwood, you know she's going to agree with Ironwood, means that there's a huge possibility that they can't trust Winter. Because, like Crow said, he doesn't even know if he can trust or talk to General Ironwood at this point. And the thing is that Winter definitely wasn't let in the beginning. So think about it like this. You have Ozpin, who is the main source, like primary source of knowledge when it comes to the relics, Salem, the whole entire, the gods in general. Then Ozpin passes on to his secondary sources, which I think was Team Stark at first. No, it was the headmasters at first. Ozpin being a headmaster himself, he passed it on to Team Stark, which was Crow, Raven, Summer, and Ty's team. Okay, they know. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he only passed it to Crow and Raven, though. But he also then chose to pass it on to whatever maidens who were maidens at the time, and then at the same time passed it on to General Ironwood. Now that Ozpin's gone, the secondary sources have become the primary source. And when you're Winter or anybody in her type of situation, the person who told you about the impending threat, the person who you trust that told you about the impending threat, is going to be the person who you rely on, who you want to make the calls for you. And it's just like a regular chain of command. Winter's going to do whatever Ironwood says at this point, now that she knows, because there's no way that he hasn't told her. And I mean, like I said, this is a discussion about episode 1 and 2, so I have seen it. But at this point, I already deducted that there's no way that he hasn't told her. What I was surprised that the other person knew. That's what I was really surprised about. But I wasn't surprised that Winter knew. And going on to the real poverty of Mantle, or continuing talking about the poverty of Mantle, there's obviously a mine somewhere, coal miners, something. There's obviously like some kind of mine. That's where all that smoke came from, all that soot, all that smoke. And this is touching back on what Maria said when she said that after all, a city in the clouds is every person's dream, and it goes to what Nora said, unless you have to look up at it. Nobody in Mantle really likes Atlas. I really feel strongly. I feel like nobody in Mantle actually likes Atlas. I don't feel like these people enjoy the fact that the embargo, I think one of the drunk guys said, has set back Mantle. And I mean, it took the guy to get drunk to even acknowledge the fact that there may or may not be a problem. I mean, this guy right here being drunk, sorry if this is in the way, this actually needs to get the heck out the way, if I'm being honest. If I'm being honest, this chat box needs to move like somewhere down here. So like I was saying, is that I mean, it took this dude to get drunk, to be drunk, to even say the things that he said about Atlas. They were both drunk, and as you can tell, Yang isn't having it, Nora's not having it, Ruby's not having it. Blake she's just like, she's apologetic because she said that living in the city seems like it's horrible. It just seems awful here. So homeboy wanted to take offense, but it really is awful. We see these coal miners right here. None of them are happy. All of them have their heads down. They're probably working so hard for so little payment and everything, and it's all because, most likely, of the fact that they're in poverty because Atlas isn't helping pretty much a city that was connected to them. I feel like it was all called Atlas at one point. Like I said, I'm going to focus on the lore and read up on the lore, figure out everything about the world of Rwby in a little bit. But I feel like when you think about it, Atlas was not always in the sky. It was connected to Mantle at some point. I feel like what happened was Atlas was the rich area. They wanted to leave. They left, separated themselves from Mantle. I feel like Mantle was originally part of Atlas in general. Then it was named Mantle because Atlas wanted to stay Atlas. They had to have a name for that little crap spot in the like you get what I'm saying? They had to have a name for something for whatever Mantle was. And like I said, this is what I'm going to touch up on right here. Negating the coal miners real quick. I found it very interesting that like the looks that everybody has, especially Yang, because the thing is in this scene, Yang looks at the guy first really quick, but then she looks at the flask that he's holding. That flask has to remind her of her Uncle Crow in some way, shape, or form. Yang and Rwby have constantly, probably most likely constantly taken care of Crow, and they both know, they're not oblivious to the fact that he has or had a drinking problem. And with that being a fact, neither of them probably tolerate anybody being drunk. They're probably, if they're so fed up with their uncle, they're definitely fed up with anybody else who could possibly be drunk, especially saying crazy things like that. And especially when the dude mentioned, I think he said stupid fondness like you would never understand or something like that. One, obviously, that's not going to go well with anybody here because obviously Blake's a fondness. They've had friends that are fondness. The Velvet's a fondness. And I feel like that really shows the development of Weiss's character when she, I'm not going to say attacked, but when she taught the drunk dude a lesson. Everybody's shocked. They know what Weiss's glyphs look like. They know who did this. That's why they all turned around to see Weiss doing it. And I feel like that shows a great amount of character development on Weiss's end because let's face it, Weiss has had the best and most obvious amount of character development in all of Team Rwby and possibly and arguably Rwby in general. We all know how Weiss's position was towards the Faunus in, I believe Blake was deduced to be a Faunus in Volume 2, possibly late Volume 1. And Weiss did not like the Faunus. She blamed the Faunus for so many things, constantly stealing from the sea. She was that type of person. And I feel like after they resolved that issue, Weiss had a newfound respect for Blake. Blake had a new respect for Weiss. And Weiss had a newfound understanding of what the Faunus go through. So Weiss is also going to be a little sensitive to the Faunus topic. Saying anything bad about a Faunus, Weiss is going to do something. And I like how they had Weiss be the one to teach that guy a lesson. Because usually it'd probably be somebody like Blake, maybe Nora. I mean, somebody like Yang, maybe Nora. Blake would probably just, take the insult because, I mean, she doesn't radiate things through violence and everything. But I like how Weiss is the one who decided to be that person, be like, hey, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. That was great. Now, moving on to a new character who we have seen before in a sense, but never actually gotten detail on his face, hair, voice, or anything like that. Pietro Polendina. Now, obviously, as you can tell, if you have not seen any of Rwby, then I just don't know what the heck you're doing. But obviously, this is Penny's father. Now, I had to look up his freaking name because I don't think they said it once in the whole entire episode. But Pietro Polendina, first of all, I'm glad they got another brother in here. I'm glad they got another black guy. Old, very old. But there are subtle things about this dude's character that lets you know that, hey, Penny might not be dead. And one of the things is the simple fact that he's wearing her bow. He's a scientist in Atlas. And he says, my daughter has told me much about you. He's a person who is great with I'd say biological enhancements, things like helping things make you walk, helping Maria see, Yang's arm. So I feel like with that being said, it's not like cold hard obvious that he is Penny's dad, but it's the simple fact that, like I said, Penny, like I said in my reaction, at the end of my reaction, Penny is not human. So the no body, no death rule doesn't necessarily apply to her. And let's just get a zoom in on how amazing this dude's chair is real quick. But this dude has a quad walker. That's what I'm gonna call it. He has a quad walker. Like it's literally like a big ass animal taking him places. But I feel like the no body, no death rule doesn't necessarily apply to Penny, because even though we saw her die, like I said, she is in fact a robot. Like Pietro said, he recovered their core. As long as the core isn't destroyed, you can put the consciousness, the subconscious, whatever you want to call it, into another mainframe, into another robot, into another body, another vessel, whatever you want to call it. And I've been said that, even though, don't get me wrong, there was a part of me who was like, okay, Penny's gone, she's dead, she's not coming back. There was a part of me who was like that, but another part of me, the more rational part, was like, she's not human. So getting sliced up doesn't necessarily mean that she's dead and gone forever. And this dude being one of the best minds, the dude who made Yang's arm, the dude who made Penny, who, might I add, was one of the most overpowered, and probably is still, now that she's back, one of the most overpowered characters in Rwby. It shouldn't be a problem to put her consciousness into another body. One that apparently, according to her, has major improvements. And then right here, when they leave Pietro's store, his little shack or whatever, this is why I never understood what people say that Rwby can't classify as an anime. What do you mean? Do you see this little scene, this little transition right here? Let me tell you something about this transition. This is something that so many animes do, and rarely any like shows, like live shows do. But animes are notorious for these little split screen shots that they do. I don't know necessarily the correct term, but I call them split screen shots because it shows like multiple screens, showing each character ready for battle, showing each character shocked, aghast. Anime is notorious for doing this. Always does it. And I like how they even have, it's not like a regular just one straight line. They even have little like vibrating like TV static type lines that they got. Has to be considered like an anime at this point. Even the intro is more of an anime intro. They just can't take it away from Rwby anymore. They can't do it. Even though did Monty say that Rwby is an anime? I don't recall him saying that. If he did, then he did. I'm not trying to put words in Monty's mouth. That's the last thing I'd ever do. But I doubt that Monty said that it isn't an anime. And I feel like it can definitely be classified as one right now. That was just a little thing that I wanted to talk about. Another thing I want to talk about is the fact that Rooster Teeth is doing amazing with these Grimm right now. Like, the Grimm, how they look in the show, like, look at these things. I never got the name of these Grimm. I need to look it up. I tried to get the name, kept showing me a bunch of bull. But these things are like frost saber-toothed tigers. Like, if you pay attention, it looks like there's ice. Like, that doesn't look like bone. That doesn't look like the regular bone structure that normal Grimms have. It looks like ice. Like, it looks like they came out of the freaking tundra. They look like saber-toothed tigers. And heck, that might be what the dang name is. It might be named Sabretooth. Who knows? But Rooster Teeth has just forever done a great job at constantly making the Grimm more and more menacing, giving them more and more details. One of the things that I love about the Grimm is the eye trails that they sometimes have. The little eye trail that they have, the red eye trail, that is a slight change that makes them look all the more menacing. And I think it's fantastic. Moving on to another thing, the fighting. Now we're getting towards the end of this discussion, but I want to talk about the fighting. Just look at this real quick. I want you to see this. I'm going to start it over. Look at this. Jean stabbing. Jean's getting some bodies in. He's doing great. Crow, as always, slicing. The slow motion camera angles, the slow motion acts that these people be doing. Crow using Harbinger as a spear was just, I thought it was great. Continuing to get bodies. Oscar over here. Slow-mo. I feel like I'm commentating a game or an actual fight. One shot kill. That shows how Oscar is improving. He needs to work on his reflexes and his like perception of his surroundings and everything. Even though Rwby saved him, but that's still a great sign of Oscar like progressing as a huntsman. Then the camera angles that they have with this, Rwby splitting up. Look at these camera angles. These aren't normal run-of-the-mill camera angles that anybody has in any show or anything. This fight was amazing. And it's still going. And another thing that I see that Rooster Teeth has improved on, they've improved on the team tactics of this group. Because this is a group of people who've been friends for years now. Has to be for years now. And look, Weiss, all she did was look at Ren, and Ren automatically knew what to do. That's all they needed. That's all they needed. That shows that Rwby, Rooster Teeth, they know exactly what they're doing. They gradually, it's literally one of those shows that just keeps progressing each volume. Whether it's not, even if it's not progressing like animation wise, it progresses another aspect. Maybe showing more character development, maybe showing more team building, maybe showing new character designs. Like it constantly progresses. The characters constantly progress. I never understood why people said that it's too stagnant. It doesn't, there's no real like motion, no nothing. It constantly progresses. There's no shortage of progression in Rwby at all. I never felt like there was. And the reason why I'm trying to like knock this out of the park is because one, I have to do part 2. 2, I have to worry about getting the actual discussion for episode 3 ready. And 4, I plan on doing another live stream tonight. At some point in time, I plan on doing another live stream tonight, tomorrow, something like that. I plan on doing another one. Now, one other thing, the team being captured. And I felt like, I mean, this is after the fact that they showed Penny, which I don't like the fact that I didn't get, as a matter of fact, hold up for a second. Give me 1 second, y'all. I am sorry that I had to do this because there's no way I'm going to have this live stream discussion and not show Penny. That's just not going to happen. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and not show Penny at all during this live stream. That's just not gonna happen. Penny was by far one of the most hype moments in this show, just because if you look at her design, and it's one of those things that if you pay attention to Rwby, it's one of those things that you see coming. Like all the things are setting up for it to happen. Because when it's going down, when the fight's going down and everything, after seeing Penny's dad, who Team Rwby doesn't know is her dad, but us as viewers, we're sitting here like, that's gotta be her dad. After seeing Penny's dad, after realizing it's Penny's dad, you're sitting there like, oh my gosh, there's a possibility that Penny is back, that Penny's coming. And then as soon as you see those green beams, as soon as you see those green lights shoot those Grimm, you already know who it is. There's only one person in Rwby that has used or shot green beams, especially ones that are that big, in all of Rwby, and that was Penny.
Was unexpected.
Alright, now like I said, I'm not gonna do this without showing Penny at all. That's not what's about to go down. And yes, I'm adding a new source. That's just the lengths I'm willing to go in order to make sure that this girl gets the shine that she needs. Exactly. Okay. Now, like I said, right here in this scene, when we see these green beams, we already know who it is. The setup was perfect. We see the Grimm, we see them being annihilated. City lights turn back on. Us as viewers has a pretty good idea, and then we see this. Penny swooping in, dancing through the sky, and we instantly see that she has longer hair, a completely new outfit, and it's just the perfect setup. 100% the perfect setup. And if you needed more confirmation, Pietro coming out the back, 100% confirmation. Look at Penny's design. It is fantastic. She looks a lot older. She's happy. Has a robotic bow in her head. And then the best part was Penny turning around and remembering all of them. That was the best part. She still remembers. It's not some weird Pet Cemetery crap. And then the salutations. That was the best part. Rwby already knew at that point that Penny was going to charge her. Look at how fast this girl is going. There's no way that did not hurt. Penny probably depleted all of Rwby's aura just by that attack alone. But I felt like, just like how Blake, just like how Yang, and even Weiss and Nora, I feel like how they all stated, this was strangely wholesome. Like it was great seeing Penny. It was fantastic. We're glad that she knows everybody, that she's still here, she's still with them, and it was such a refreshing thing to see. It was real refreshing seeing Penny being alive, Pietro talking about her being alive, him explaining how exactly she's alive. Great thing to see. And like I said, I've seen episode 2. So her, Penny, is the you know what that I was talking about that also knows about the relics and Ozpin and everything. And that was a shock. That was a real shock to me. I had no idea why or how she knew. But that's it for that right here. Now moving on to what was really being shown is Crow's bad luck. We saw this part in the trailer when Crow says, honestly, I was expecting it to be a lot rougher. Now, right here, we see right here, this is Crow's bad luck at work. When Crow finally starts to relax and everything, he's with allies. This is Crow's bad luck at work. Now let me talk to you about something. Does Ren have freaking spider sense? Can Ren freaking... Does Ren like detect enemies, detect hostility, detect eyes on people or something? Because it really makes no sense. He knew Tyrion was coming. Tyrion was about a solid, maybe even 100 feet, maybe 100 meters away from Team Rwby. But Tyrion somehow knew. But Ren somehow knew that this dude was coming. Then we have the ASOPs, the Atlas Special Ops Unit or something. I guess that's the name that they go by. I think these people are directly under Winter, and I don't know what the horseshoe's supposed to symbolize with you. I really have no idea, but apparently they arrest them just because they're unlicensed huntsmen or un-Atlas huntsmen, in my opinion, who are working or fighting using weapons in Mantle when they're not allowed to, basically illegally. Now, that scene, I thought it was something evil, but the fact that these are people working for Atlas symbolizes, or at least makes me feel better about the fact that they took the relic. It made me feel better, but I feel like the ASOPs unit is definitely 100% good. I don't feel like they're bad, even though when you look at the intro, you see Dr. Watts. I don't know if he's looking at them on the screen or it just shows him right after, but sometimes when you see that, it symbolizes that they're really bad, but I doubt that that's the case. I feel like the ASOPs unit is actually a good unit. I don't feel like they're corrupted by Dr. Watts at all. I don't feel like any of that is possible. Maybe one of them is, who knows, but I don't feel like the whole unit is. And I feel that way because Ironwood is especially paranoid. I doubt that Dr. Watts' brains are going to get past Ironwood's paranoia. So that was pretty much the end of the episode. Now, with that being the end of the episode, I really expect to see, not expecting, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how Team Rwby, Team Juniper / Team Ranger operates with the ASOPs, whether they get along. I want to know more about the ASOPs. I'm not necessarily talking about a background story, but I definitely want to see more in-depth character. You get character description, character development, character placement. I want to see all of that. Definitely want to first of all, I want to learn all their names. I want to learn the names, their personalities. It already seems like some of them love fighting. It seems like one of them is a tsundere, in my opinion. It's the guy, the dude with the tail. I feel like he's kind of like a tsundere. He never admits when he's happy to see somebody, kind of like how a dog would. But right off the bat, this was a great premiere, in my opinion. An excellent showcase of just bringing Penny, and a great job at not giving us the intro, because as you guys know, I think for Volume 5 all the way to Volume 5 and Volume 6, or maybe just Volume 6, they gave us the intro before. And I think they even did it for Volume 4. They gave us the intros before they released the actual volume. And they didn't because Penny's in the intro. And a whole bunch of new characters are in the intro. You don't want to put an intro out and you see all these new characters. We instantly start wanting to do research on them. That's not how you do it. They did a great job at not giving us the intro and waiting until the actual episode came out. And Rooster Teeth again, anybody watching this, anybody Rooster Teeth related watching this, anybody who just loves Rwby watching this, thank you for watching this. Put your inputs in the comment section down below. I know nobody was here to give their actual input. Heck, I stream these at awkward times any dang way. But put your opinions, your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think about how this this premiere was. Let me know what you guys think about how this volume will go. I don't want to hear no death predictions. I don't want to hear none of that. But I do want to know how this. First of all, if I'm talking to you, Rooster Teeth, if Penny dies again, I'm riding. I think very morbidly when it comes to characters being brought back. And if you bring back Penny just for her to die or get hacked by Dr. Watts, I will lose my mind. I really will. Because that's uncalled for. That's like opening wounds and putting salt in it. That is just uncalled for. But that is it for this live stream discussion. Hope you guys enjoyed. I really do hope a lot more people like Rooster Teeth Lady stick around, stay tuned for these. I know I did this one late. It was supposed to be yesterday. I still gave you guys a live stream yesterday, so you guys wouldn't miss it, but I had to get stuff ready for this. Live streaming games is a lot easier than live streaming these type of discussions. I have to put my stuff ready. I have to get my notes ready, my placement. I talk a little fast and everything like that. And that's just because I'm still not used to the whole concept of actually communicating with you guys, because nobody freaking comes in here. But I'm going to see you guys next time. Hopefully you guys stick around for my other Rwby related videos I will definitely have. I definitely want to catch up on the lore so I can actually make actual good Rwby content, good Rwby related content to give you guys informing information, like be like an informant to you guys pretty much. Not a lot of people read the lore for Rwby. Not a lot of people pay attention to the lore of Rwby. So I want to be one of those people who informs you all about what's going on. But I'm going to see you guys next time, next live stream. Definitely make sure to go stick around. Hit that post notification button. Definitely check out my Twitch. I'm going to see you guys next time, and peace.